So carrying on from our recent conversation, Vikesh, we were talking about flow. We were talking about the mind's built-in design for functioning well. We talked about universal mind, that there's this intelligence and energy that animates all of life. And I'm not religious, but really, for me, what it occurs to me is that that's what God is, right? That's what God is that some people had some realization over the ages that there was an energy and an intelligence that was operating kind of through them, that had magical things happen, that it was like they were so amazing that it was like it was God. It was named God. And that then along the ages we personified this thing, and we made this thing a man, and we gave him a white beard, and we put him with sandals in the sky, and we said that's God, and it's this person. And then we wrote about him and personified him and made it an object outside of us. And I'm really interested to get your view on this, but it strikes me that universal mind, this intelligence that animates everything in this amazing universe, including me, is actually what people are referring to as God.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful topic, and it's one that, I reflect on very deeply at the moment. So just, a very quick kind of sidebar. I'm a Hindu. I grew up as a Hindu. I rebelled against Hinduism until probably 3-4 years ago. And I rebelled against it because of the organized nature of religion today, as you're explaining. I must go to a temple. I must sit in a certain way. I must say things in a certain order. Otherwise, God is displeased. Or I'm not honoring God, was the answer my grandmother used to give me. And actually, what I found through starting the work with you is I've reconnected with the Bhagavad Gita, which is a wonderful kind of Hindu text. And that is a conversation between God in the form of Krishna and Arjun, who Krishna was the charioteer for. So I've reconnected. So that's something just to say, I too had that, oh my God, the God word kind of aspect. Now, my exploration at the moment, in summary, is probably two things. One, I am made of this stuff that you call universal mind, we call universal mind, I call universal mind. Some people call God. Some people call it Buddhism, Hinduism, Jainism, Sikhism, Islam, whatever it may be. But it is this intelligence that is at play. And I'm made of that. I'm not separate from that. I'm not a representation of that. And we talk about duality. I don't see myself as being different to that. And the second thing I was going to say is something that Michael Neal, who's kind of a practitioner, a very prominent practitioner and speaker of the three principles, said, which has resonated with me, and I write it inside a notebook, which is, I am not God, but God I am. And there's a subtlety in that the arrogance of me thinking I am God and I kind of, can go and make certain decisions and tell people to do things in a certain way must be checked and must have balances. But the second part is God I am. I'm made of this stuff. Now, what does that mean today? It means the infinite is possible. Anything is available to me in any moment, in any time, and it's available through me. And it's available in every cell, in every pore, in every decision, in every choice. And it's wonderful, right? It's a wonderfully exciting concept.
So can I riff off that and just explore it in a different way? What we're kind of saying is that I'm a vessel, this human being here in the form called Martin. There's this intelligence, amazing intelligence that seems to flow through me. When Martin doesn't get in the way, he can do amazing things. And it's like the divine, it's like this intelligence, whatever we want to call it, God, then operates through this vessel in any form or in any way that makes sense, which could be being loving and kind. It could be being self-expressed. It could be scoring a goal in the World Cup final. It could be anything that's available when we trust in this intelligence to operate through us.
I think that's it. I think that's it. The identity that is Vikesh, that's been created over the years and built around things that I like and I don't like, things that trigger me, things that don't trigger me, conditioning, whatever all of these things are, has almost created, as we said, in reverse at the start, we created this kind of deity and this visualization of God. Well, the truth's there for me, created a visualization, a reality, a persona of Vikesh, which is very different from what it is and what I am and what I'm made of and what the possibilities are. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not here. That doesn't mean I don't have bad days. That doesn't mean I don't get upset and I start crying when England lose the World Cup and, the penalty's taken and a tear rolls down my eye. Of course it does. But that's the beauty of the experience. But for me, identifying that experience comes from that place and operates through me and is a very active operation through me is wonderful.
Feels like a beautiful and I mean, I'm hesitant to use some of these words, but it's like a divine place way to operate life. It's an easier, more effortless, more pure, more peaceful, more easy way to operate through life when we sink into being this expression of this greater intelligence.
Yeah, I think you're right. And words are always, as you were just saying, hard to put on this. But what I would say is my experience is that is the default setting. That is the default that we are designed to operate if we let that creative intelligence operate through us. And for me, having that connection and that living connection with the divine and looking for that. And I know that goes a little bit against the duality point I made earlier. Maybe it's my rational mind kind of needs to think of it in that way to break down the walls of Vikesh. But once you do that, yeah, I mean, anything's possible in any moment.
Right. And so what I think we're also identifying is, I mean, when I kind of started to get this, because I was certainly not spiritual, 8 years ago, I certainly was very pragmatic. But when I started to get this at some sort of deeper level, I'm like, oh my God, of course, now I understand all the religions.
Yes.
Because all the religions have tried to create some structure and the rational mind is the religion getting hold of this essence and creating a book around it to try and get other people to follow. But with all the religions, they're pointing at the same thing here, but they got carried away with their own thinking in the way they've created it as form. That's then had a lot of people miss the essence of what this is really about.
Yeah, I think that's right. And, it's always hard to put words on this feeling. And I agree that, different religions have kind of, put words and sought to access it. But the thought that comes to mind is, what are they all pointing to? They're kind of pointing, like you said, to an essence, to something that's upstream, to something that is before words and before form. And that's why I think it's very difficult to describe it. But I experience it through a feeling. I experience it through those moments of like, wow, where did that come from?
Yeah.
And also I experience it through recently knowing that, yeah, I have some tough days, but I can get through it. Now, where did that kind of resiliency, courage, persistence, patience, whatever you want to call it, come from?
Yeah. Yeah, and absolutely. And so the last thing I'd just like to say, because I know we're running out of time, is if you're listening to this and you're someone that has an aversion to the God word, partly that's why we're recording this, because the word God is not utilized without quite a lot of opinion around it. And so we're really inviting you to look at the essence of what it's all about in a totally different way. And we're inviting you to see that it is you. Hopefully you've got the essence of what we're talking about here, and you have an ability to see that actually you've experienced this very same thing. You just might not have called it this or looked at it this way.
Yeah. What a wonderful way to kind of summarize it. That's right. It's that divine intelligence, however you understand it, however you come to understand it.
Yeah. And the last thing, to make it really pragmatic, if we look back at the World Cup and we see Messi going down the line in the semi-final to help assist the third goal, right? We can see the brilliance of him in flow there. It was brilliant. I don't know if you saw it, but it was amazing. It was an amazing run. And it's like we might have said, it was an intervention from God or something, because it was so beautiful and miraculous. That's the very thing that we're looking at. Whatever you want to call it, it's art, it's magic in action.
Yeah, working through him as a vessel. Yeah.
Thank you, Vikesh. Awesome.
Yeah, love that. That was good fun.
Take care.